Okay, let's talk about something most of us have in our wallets right now, your credit card. We use it almost every day, but have you ever really stopped to think about what's happening behind the scenes? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden world of credit cards.
You know, when you tap or swipe your card, the whole thing feels instant, doesn't it? But in that split second, a massive global network of technology, data, and finance just springs to life. So we're going to bust some of the biggest myths and uncover the surprising truths about what it all really means for you.
All right, let's get right into it with the biggest fear people have. Myth number 1, the idea that credit cards are just a trap designed specifically to lure you into debt.
And this isn't just some fringe opinion. It's a really deep-seated cultural view. As Sandeep Ghosh from Visa said, in India, credit is often seen as a devil. But what if I told you the data on how people actually use their cards tells a completely different story?
To really get this, you gotta know that there are basically 2 types of card users. First, you have what are called transactors. These are the people who use their card for convenience, for the rewards, and then they pay off the entire balance, in full, every single month. Then you have the revolvers. These are the folks who carry a balance from one month to the next. They're the ones actually using the credit feature. Now, companies make money from both, a tiny fee from merchants for the transactors, and of course, interest payments from the revolvers.
And here's where it gets really surprising, especially in a country like India. A whopping 80% of users are transactors. That's huge. It means the vast majority of people are not using their cards to get into debt. They're just using them as a tool for making payments, for convenience, for racking up those rewards. Only that small 20% slice of the pie are actually revolving credit.
Okay, so we've kind of dealt with the debt myth. But what about the next big concern? Data privacy. You know that whole creepy big brother is watching your wallet idea? That card companies are tracking every single purchase you make?
And, you know, it can sound pretty alarming. The moment you book a flight or a hotel, that data gets registered, so yeah, they know you're planning a trip. But the way this information is used, it's probably not what you're thinking. It's not about spying on you as an individual.
And this is the absolute key distinction right here. A company like Visa doesn't care what Sandeep bought for lunch. Instead, what they do is they look at the combined anonymous data from millions of transactions to spot the big patterns, the overall trends.
So what's the point of all that? Well, there are actually some pretty positive uses. This big picture data helps banks create better, more relevant offers for you. It helps governments understand things like tourism trends. And maybe most importantly, it's an incredibly powerful weapon in the fight against fraud.
Let me just walk you through how that works. Imagine you're in Mumbai, right? But suddenly your card is used to buy something in Thailand. An AI system instantly sees that and goes, whoa, hold on a second, that's weird. It immediately flags it, alerts your bank, and your bank calls you to double check. Just like that, fraud is stopped in its tracks.
And all that security we were just talking about, a lot of it is built right into the card itself. I mean, I know it just looks like a simple piece of plastic with some numbers on it, but it's actually a pretty sophisticated piece of technology designed from the ground up for security.
Ever wonder about that long number on the front? It's not random at all. That very first digit is a code. For instance, any card in the entire world that starts with a 4 is immediately identified by any payment system as a Visa card. It's a universal identifier. Now here's one of the biggest safety features that you've probably never even heard of. It's called tokenization. When you save your card on a website, the merchant doesn't actually store your real 16-digit card number. No way. Instead, your number gets replaced with a secure, one-time use token. Think of it like this. If a hacker steals that token, it's completely useless to them. It's like a key that only works on one specific lock, just one time.
Okay, so we've debunked some of the myths around the individual card. Now let's zoom out and take a look at the really big picture. How does the availability of credit shape an entire country's economy?
The difference in India is just staggering. You've got about 1 billion debit cards in circulation. Those are the ones tied directly to your bank account. But contrast that with credit cards. There are only about 110 million. This huge gap tells us a whole lot about the country's financial habits.
And if you dig a little deeper, it gets even more interesting. Those 110 million cards are held by only about 55 million unique individuals, because a lot of people have more than one card. Now think about that. In a country of 1.4 billion people, that shows you just how much room there is for this to grow.
And this really highlights a fundamental difference in how economies can work. The US economy, for example, is heavily driven by consumer spending,
which is fueled by easy access to credit. India's economy, on the other hand, has traditionally been built on a strong foundation of savings, two very different philosophies.
So the key takeaway here isn't that credit is something to be feared. It's all about using it responsibly. Because when we do that, it can be an incredibly powerful engine for our economy, helping businesses grow and helping people like you and me achieve those major life goals, like buying a first home. So as India's whole financial world continues to change, this is the central question we're left with. How do you harness the power of credit to fuel growth without losing the stability that a culture of savings has always provided? That's the balance we're all going to have to figure out.